Well, hey guys and girls from the internet. Today we are going to go through a tutorial on how to use import and export in Node.js. Alright? The reason you want to use import and export in Node.js so you can separate your code into different modules. Alright? So let's say I have a file that's called test export. Right? This is the file I want to export. I want to isolate everything in here so I don't get confused with other code. But I want to export this file into another file. So other file can use this whatever that is in here. Okay. And this is the file I'm gonna import it with, the test import.js. Alrighty. So let's look at how we can do it. Okay. Okay. So for the sake of this tutorial, I want to declare some variables that's for later use. Okay. So I'm gonna say my name is Eddie, and the variable number is a array of number, and then a function call name. Okay, it's just console log or whatever name you put in here. Okay, so that's all the dummy variable we're gonna use for this tutorial. We're gonna export it to the other file, so the other file can use these variables inside their file. Okay. Okay. So in order for these variables to be utilized by other JS files in the Node.js environment, you want to use the module.export keyword here. Okay, so this is a built-in functions for the Node.js to export the values. Okay, as you can see here, I set the module.export equal to an object. Okay, the object is a key value pair. Alrighty, and then for the key, I define name, call, title, and favorite numbers. Okay, you can name it whatever you want to. That's up to you. So what I do is that I assign the variable to the property inside the object that I want to export. So for example, like now you can see the name property inside the export object, and then I assign my name variable to it. Okay, so this will come out with to be Eddie, right? Because on here I declare the variable my name is Eddie inside here. So you see that when you export this module, the name property will be Eddie. Okay, and then I also have a call property that I assign call name function into this property. Okay, and then I have a title here property, which I assign just a string. Okay, so not only you can assign variables into these properties here, you can assign anything you want. You can assign a boolean, or you can assign a string, you can numbers, whatever you want to have. Okay, and then at last we have favorite numbers, and then I property, and then I assign numbers into it. Okay, that's all the properties I want to export along with the module exports. Okay, and now let's look at how to import or require this file. Okay, so now note that this is the export file. So this is the file that we want to make it available to other JS files under the Node environment. Okay, and we have the export here with all these properties, and we say export. And notice the file name is called testexport.js. Okay, now we want to use or require this file in other files. So now we have a new file. We're gonna say it's called test_imports.js. Okay, now we want to import those properties from the export file. What we can do here is we're gonna declare a constant variable or any kind of variable type you want to. Okay, so let's say we have a variable called shoutout. That's the variable name I'm going to use. You can name it whatever you want to. It's up to you. And then the way we're going to import our export file is using the require keyword. So require keyword, in this case, you will look for the directory here, right? Because the test export and the import JavaScript file are under the same directory. So we're going to use the dot and slash and then test export. And you don't need the JS here because it's already known that you are importing an JS file. Okay, so that's how we import the file. Okay, after you import the file, know that when you export it, you're exporting an object with properties inside. Okay, so this property will essentially be the shoutout. That's what you assign the properties into the shoutout. Okay, so after importing the test export file and assign it to the shoutout, now you can manipulate or play with any properties that's assigned to it. Like for example, let's look at this line right here. So remember, we have under the export file, we have the name, right? That we have assigned Eddie into it, and then our favorite number we assign the array into it, 1, 3, 5, 7. Yeah. And then so this is the export file. So when we look at the import file, this is how we're going to use it. So we're going to console log our name. So remember, shout out is already assigned with the export properties. So we can get this variable property name, right? You want to, the name has to match whatever the property you have here on the export. Okay. Now this should lock the name. Okay. Let's say Eddie's favorite number are whatever shoutout's favorite number is. Again, this is the same thing. So shoutout is a variable that we have assigned to, and the favorite number is one of the properties under the export. You see here? Okay, now we can do what we can do. We can go to the node terminal here. Let's clear this, and then we say so now, right now I'm under my directory here, and now say node test imports JS, and now you can see that the console will tell you that Eddie's favorite number are 1, 3, 5, 7. So it's exactly what we have here. So now you can use the variable values inside the export in the import file. You see? Okay, well, let's look at another example here. So instead of calling console out just to straight up the name, we're gonna do we're gonna call a function that we define here. See, on the export file we define that the call property is gonna be the call name function that we define in here. Okay, so we're gonna use that in our input file. So what we're gonna do is simple. It's similar to what we did before. You know that we just use a shoutout variable inside our import, and then we just call the call function, and then you pass in whatever name you want to call it. Okay, and now we're gonna go to our terminal, and then we just say node test import JS, and console log, hey John, because we pass in John as our name. All right, and now you also can use the name we defined in the export, right? The name we defined earlier, which is Eddie. So we can also say that, okay, so I want to use the function call, the call name function, right, in here, and then I also want to use the name that was defined in the export file. So now we have the node. Okay, let's go to terminal, and then it says, hey Eddie, right? Because, so let me go do this again. So shout out is the local variable we define that we assign the export properties into the shout out, and then we call the call function. All right, and then it also on the name the call function requires a argument that's a name. So we pass in the shoutout's name, which is Eddie, and it will console log, hey, name, which is in this case, hey Eddie. Alrighty? Alright. So let's do a little summary on this import export thing. Okay. So first of all, we have an export file that you can name it whatever you want. Okay, that's isolated from outside world. Right now, you want to export the file. In this case, we use module.export equal to, and then the thing you want to export. In this case, we export an object with properties in it. Okay. Now, in the file you want to use those export items, you assign those export into a variable with the require keyword. Okay, the require keyword will look for the it takes a parameter that's the directory of the file name. In this case, we have the same directory and then test export as our file name. You need the JS at the end. Okay, and then you can utilize any properties that was defined under the export property, which is name, call, title, favorite number. Okay, in here. Alrighty guys, so this is the end of my tutorial. I hope you learned something from it, at least. So if you like more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel to support me. Okay, thank you. See you guys later.